The clock is ticking, and Brad Holmes has a decision to make that could define our entire season. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report, your home for the latest updates, breaking news, and insider rumors about our beloved Detroit Lions. What I'm about to share with you today involves a familiar face, a critical weakness that just emerged, and a potential move that makes almost too much sense. Stay with me until the end because this could be the piece that solidifies our offensive line for a legitimate Super Bowl push. Let me set the stage for you. We're sitting at one of the most dominant starts in franchise history. Our offense is firing on all cylinders, and Jared Goff is playing like an MVP candidate. But then, Week 9 against Minnesota happened. Not just the loss itself, but what happened beneath the surface. Christian Mahogany went down with an injury that's likely going to keep him sidelined until the holiday season at the earliest. Tate Ratledge suffered his own setback. And if you've been watching closely, you've noticed Graham Glasgow struggling with consistency at the center position. Suddenly, our interior offensive line went from a minor concern to a glaring vulnerability. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The trade deadline is upon us, and Brad Holmes has proven time and time again that he's not afraid to make bold moves when our championship window is wide open. We've seen it before with Zadarius Smith last year. We've seen it with other strategic acquisitions, and I believe we're about to see it again. But the question isn't whether Holmes will make a move. It's who he's targeting and why it matters so much for our immediate future. Let me take you back to last season for a moment. Remember how dominant our offensive line was? Remember how Jared Goff had all day in the pocket, how our running game was virtually unstoppable. A huge part of that success came from the cohesion and experience along that interior line. We had veterans who knew the system, who communicated seamlessly, who could handle any defensive front thrown at them. That chemistry doesn't just appear overnight. It takes time. It takes reps. It takes players who understand not just their assignments, but the assignments of everyone around them. Fast forward to today, and we're facing a situation where we need someone who can step in immediately without a lengthy adjustment period. We need someone who knows our system, who's played in Dan Campbell's scheme, who has that veteran presence and reliability. We need someone who can protect Jared Goff and open lanes for David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs without missing a beat. The margin for error is razor thin when you're trying to win a Super Bowl, and every snap matters. So who fits this profile perfectly? Who checks every single box we're looking for? There's one name that keeps coming up in conversations, one player who makes so much sense that it almost feels inevitable. A player who spent last season with us, who started 16 games, who was a crucial part of our success, and who left Detroit for a hefty contract with a team that's now struggling badly. I'm talking about Kevin Zeitler. Zeitler signed a one-year, $9 million deal with the Tennessee Titans in the offseason. And let's be honest, we couldn't blame him for chasing that bag. But here's the reality. Tennessee is stumbling to a dismal 1-win, 8-loss record. They're not competing for anything meaningful this season. And Zeitler, at this stage of his career, deserves better than watching a rebuild from the trenches. His contract situation makes him a prime candidate to be moved at the deadline. He's a rental piece for a contending team, and we are absolutely a contending team. The beauty of potentially bringing Zeitler back is that he's the ultimate plug-and-play option. There's no learning curve, no adjustment period, no concerns about whether he can handle the playbook or communicate with his line mate. He already knows everything. He knows the cadence. He knows the protection schemes. He knows how Goff operates under center. From day one, Zeitler could slide right back into that interior line and provide immediate stability. That kind of seamless transition is invaluable when you're in the middle of a championship chase. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room because I know some of you are thinking about it. There is one small complication with this move. Zeitler has played primarily right guard throughout his 13-year career. In fact, he's only logged 2 snaps at left guard in his entire professional career. Meanwhile, Tate Ratledge, who's currently dealing with his own injury, played just 4 snaps at left guard during his entire college career. So if we acquire Zeitler, someone is going to have to make the switch to the left side of that interior line. It's not an insurmountable challenge, but it's something the coaching staff would need to navigate carefully. That said, when you're evaluating risk versus reward, this move still makes tremendous sense. The risk is minimal compared to the potential reward of solidifying our offensive line with a proven veteran who's already demonstrated he can excel in our system. Brad Holmes has shown he's willing to be aggressive when the opportunity presents itself. And this feels like one of those moments where being aggressive could pay massive dividends. Let's talk about what this means for our offense as a whole. When your offensive line is playing at a high level, everything else becomes easier. Jared Goff has more time to go through his progressions and find Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Sam Laporta. Our running backs have cleaner holes to hit and more opportunities to break big plays. Play action becomes more effective because defenses have to respect the run. The entire offensive ecosystem thrives when the big guys up front are doing their job. Bringing in someone like Zeitler isn't just about filling a roster spot. It's about maintaining the standard of excellence we've established on offense. And let's not forget the intangibles that a veteran like Zeitler brings. He's played in big games. He's been in precious situations. He understands what it takes to win at the highest level. That leadership and experience in the locker room and on the field cannot be overstated. Young players like Mahogany and Ratledge, when they return, would benefit enormously from having Zeitler back in the room. Learning from his preparation and professionalism, the timing of this potential move couldn't be better. We're heading into the most challenging stretch of our schedule, facing elite defenses and high-stakes divisional matchup. This is where championships are won or lost. This is where having depth and experience along the offensive line becomes absolutely critical. If we can shore up this area of need right now, we're putting ourselves in the best possible position to make a deep playoff run and potentially bring home that Lombardi trophy that this city has been waiting for since 1957. Brad Holmes has earned our trust with his track record of smart, strategic moves. He's built this roster from the ground up. He's created a culture of winning, and he's shown he knows when to be patient and when to strike. This feels like a strike moment. With the trade deadline looming, with our championship window wide open, and with a familiar face available who could immediately address our biggest need, everything is lining up for Holmes to pull the trigger on a reunion that could define our season. So, what do you think about the possibility of bringing Kevin Zeitler back to Detroit? Do you believe he's the right move to solidify our interior offensive line? Are you concerned about the potential position switch, or do you trust our coaching staff to make it work? What other moves do you think Brad Holmes should consider before the deadline closes? I want to hear your thoughts, your concerns, your predictions. Drop your comments below and let's have a real conversation about what this team needs to get over the hump and win it all. Before I let you go, remember that Lions News Fan Report is your destination for everything Detroit Lions. If you want to stay ahead of every breaking news story, every trade rumor, every insider update, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. We're bringing you the most comprehensive coverage, the deepest analysis, and the most passionate perspective on our team. Share this video with your fellow Lions fans. Give it a thumbs up if you found it valuable. And let's keep building this community of die-hard supporters who believe this is finally our year. 1. Pride.